Okay, so I want to kind of run through my own thoughts about what addiction really is so that I can further gain a better understanding by externalizing my own thoughts, verbally, obviously. And I hope that anyone watching this can potentially find some utility in what it is that I'm trying to explain here. So, addiction. Think about it this way: you're a methamphetamine addict, okay? Well, when you start out, you're not an addict. You're just someone who's bored to death or somewhat self destructive or some combination of both. It doesn't really matter. So, what happens when you take methamphetamine? Well, first, you need to have a nice set of rationalizations. You got to think, what the hell? Or you got to think, the future's not worth living anyways. Or you got to think, to hell with this, to hell with everything. Okay? So, you think those, and then you take your methamphetamine, and then it wallops you with a dopamine hit, right? And methamphetamine being an extremely vicious dopamine agonist, and it works very rapidly, which makes something addicting. But so you might think, what happens when you reinforce the neural circuitry in your mind that's associated with the future's not worth living anyways, and to hell with it 10,000 times? Well, now you have a little devil in your head, and it's a full-fledged personality, and it only cares about one thing: taking methamphetamine. Well, it might care about the other things that you think to hell with, because that's in the associated cognitive web, so to speak. And so it's almost as if the addiction isn't the addiction isn't a behavior in response to a cue, and the manifestation of a behavior in response to a cue, and it's not craving. It's the manifestation of a full-fledged, one-dimensional personality with its own perceptions, emotions, motivations, and cognitions. Like I said, that only cares about one thing and does not care about anything else. And so it's, the models under, DSM or disease models, I find them extremely problematic and not sophisticated enough an idea to actually accept as, a proper description of what's happening here. I mean, at least on the cognitive level and the neurophysiological level, obviously you're hijacking your reward systems, especially with something like methamphetamine. But that seems to be the basis of most addictions. It's truly something really. It's difficult to comprehend and understand it in this manner, just because it kind of separates you from. It almost separates you from conscious action, in some way, like thinking that it's a personality or something of that description. And the thing is, like, you can, if you think about it from this perspective, it's like there's still things you can do to remediate and I guess fix it, remove it, and that would be in combination, one, creating new pathways in your brain. So if you get sight of something that's associated with methamphetamine, or you're triggered, so you're stressed or you're anxious or resentful or bitter, vengeful, all those things, and then you experience those feelings, and then as a consequence you want to go and use, you're craving at that point. But in that process, if you replace that behavior of using with something else, whatever the hell it is, exercise, reaching out to someone, just anything that moves you away from the fulfillment of that action, the using of the methamphetamine or the drug or the gambling or whatever the hell it is, you're simultaneously, I guess the two things are actually happening in the one action, is you're replacing the behavior, and you're also punishing it. So the behavior is use methamphetamine when I'm stressed. Let's just use that. Use methamphetamine when I'm stressed. It's like, no, I'm not going to use methamphetamine. I'm going to have a cold shower, for an example. The more times you do this, you're going to supersede this circuit, and you're going to replace it with something much better, arbitrarily. It's more as far as the criteria of what you want to happen, which is not use drugs anymore. That's why it's better. And simultaneously, as that's happening, you're punishing it because you're not giving it what it wants, which is the other component of this that makes it weaker. But you need to successfully do those things across the entire continuum of every point of where you want to use, because you could do that 10 times, and then if you give the system in your head that's alive, it is alive, that wants to use methamphetamine, and if you give into that one time to the 10 times you don't, it really will just latch straight back on and become the dominating force of your behavior within those circumstances of stress or anxiety and things of that nature, whatever it is that triggers you to use. So I think I'll leave it there just for this entry, but I hope you guys can take something from that, and at least I'll have an opportunity to review this video, and hopefully I've articulated myself properly in the way that I wanted to, and I might be able to further dive into this, so that I can better understand my own ideas. These aren't original ideas, obviously, but just gives me the opportunity to more precisely chip away the potentially faulty thinking around what I would consider to be the case. So, thanks for watching.